All right, we're talking about the ketogenic diet again. If you haven't seen my Keto Explained video, then I recommend that you check that out for a general understanding of what the diet is, what the whole buzz is about, why it's so popular, as well as some preliminary steps on how you can get started on the keto diet. In this video, I'm going to be going over the specific pros and cons for this diet, as well as my overall opinions of this diet. So let's get into it. What's up guys, Newton Kwong here, helping you with long-term tips and strategies on how to eat better and live healthier. All of the information in today's video is for educational purposes only, so if you're looking for medical advice, then please consult with your proper healthcare professional. Also, I want to state that I've never done the keto diet, nor do I plan to do it. I'm making this video because this is a popular topic, and also I just want to share my opinion about it. So let's get on with the pros of the keto diet. Pro number one is that the keto diet is going to increase your satiety. It's going to help you feel fuller with each meal. Since you're eating about 60 to 90% of your total calories from fat and about 10 to 20% from protein, it's going to be very easy to feel full off of each one of your meals. When it comes to digestion, fats are going to take the longest amount of time to empty out of your stomach. Protein is going to take the second longest amount of time to empty from your stomach, and carbs is the fastest. That means if you're eating a meal that is high in carbs, it's going to go through your body faster, meaning that you're going to get hungrier quicker. As the keto diet virtually has no carbohydrates at all, then expect to feel very full after each one of your meals. This is extremely helpful in helping us curb our cravings, in limiting our urges to snack throughout our day, and it's going to allow us to stick to a better eating schedule. Pro number two is that you're going to be naturally eating smaller portions. It's very, very difficult to eat a lot of fat and a lot of protein in one sitting. If you don't believe me, then try eating a whole stick of butter all at once. It's virtually impossible to do unless you want a really, really bad stomach ache later on in the day. The fact that you can get fuller off of less food can definitely be a big plus and positive in our confidence to sustain good eating habits. It's going to help us rewire the way that we think about portion sizing, and it's going to allow some people to be more comfortable with eating smaller amounts of food. Not only will you potentially be eating less food per meal, but you may also eat less meals during the day. The keto diet really shines in this area since you're mostly eating foods that take a really long time to digest. Pro number three is that you're naturally going to be eliminating a lot of highly processed foods that contain a lot of sugar, that contains a lot of unnecessary calories, and that contain a lot of refined carbohydrates. You're automatically cutting out cookies, cakes, chips, all those snack foods, ice cream, and all these other high-calorie foods by following the keto diet. This is a huge plus when regulating our energy intake, and also when you're trying to maintain such a strict balance between all three macronutrients, fat, protein, and carbs. You're going to have to focus on getting more nutrient-dense foods in your diet. In order to stay within those macronutrient ranges that promote ketosis, you're going to have to focus in on more nutrient-dense foods. You're going to focus in on having whole cuts of meat. You're also going to have to focus in on having good quality oils, butters, and less focus on highly processed foods that won't contain the ratios that you're going to be looking for. The overall design of this diet is going to steer you into eating healthier. Pro number four is that you're going to be burning more body fat, and that's basically the entire point of why someone would want to do keto. But I want to give you this one caveat though. Burning more body fat does not mean that you're going to lose weight. The reason why that is because since you're eating more fat during the keto diet, you're also storing more fat. In order for you to lose weight, you're going to have to burn more body fat than you store. For you to ensure that this is happening, you're going to have to track your overall intake of food. You're either going to have to track your calories or use another system of determining proper portion sizing. There are also many people who do the keto diet who say that they experience more energy throughout the day. However, I don't have enough information to conclude that these higher levels of energy throughout the day is a unique quality that's only specific to the keto diet. People can experience elevated levels of energy simply by switching over to a more nutritious diet, and it doesn't have to be keto. Even though I'm not completely sold on the increased energy levels as a unique benefit for the keto diet, I am sure that you're going to be burning a lot more body fat when you're on keto. Those are all the pros that I have for you when it comes to the keto diet, so let's get right into the cons. Number one is that the keto diet is not going to be optimal for people who do a lot of anaerobic exercise. What I mean by that is exercise that doesn't require you to continuously breathe. This includes weightlifting, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, bodybuilding, you get the idea. Those type of exercises, anaerobic exercises, require glucose for energy. In order to get the glucose that you need, the body's going to break down the protein in order to make new glucose. That means that you may risk some level of muscle breakdown in order to fuel your anaerobic exercise. The way to prevent this from happening is to eat more protein on a daily basis. You want to get around 1.5 grams per pound of lean body mass that you have. The last thing that you want to do is go on a diet and lose precious muscle, lose precious lean body mass, because that's such an important component for maintaining a healthy metabolism. If you consistently lift weights, bodybuild, powerlift, or do sprints or any other type of high intensity exercise, and you're planning on doing keto, then make sure that you're hitting your protein targets appropriately. Con number two is that you have to tightly regulate your consumption of all of your macronutrients. You have to get into the right ranges of fat, the right ranges of protein, and the right ranges of carbohydrates in order to do this diet correctly. You have to know your precise intake, and you have to pay attention to everything that you eat. Tracking calories or having some type of system of detailed portion sizing is pretty much a requirement when it comes to doing keto. If you're already tracking all of your calories and paying attention to your intake, then why not go for a more flexible approach that has less stringent requirements, that allows you to eat more of the foods that you love? That is definitely a question to consider prior to you trying out the keto diet. Understand the sacrifices that you're going to have to make and all the work that you have to put into doing this before you make a commitment to this diet. The third and perhaps the biggest con of this diet is that you have to virtually eliminate all carbohydrates from your diet. For me personally, that's a very, very rough deal. I cannot do that at all. You're potentially going to have to give up on a lot of foods that you love. If you're the type of person who already doesn't like carbs, then keto may be a good fit for you. But if you enjoy carbs, if you enjoy having cookies, chips, cakes, crackers, if you eat rice, potatoes, if the cuisine that your family cooks or the cuisine that you grew up with contain a lot of grains and a lot of carbohydrate sources, this is going to be a really, really rough switch. If there's no pressing reason for you to give up carbs, such as medical reasons, like if you're diabetic or you have severe metabolic syndrome or you have cancer, then it's very hard for me to see why you would want to give up an entire food group like that. It's a huge sacrifice, and if you don't already hate carbs, then I'm pretty sure that you're going to agree with me. That's a pretty good segue into my overall thoughts about the keto diet, and just based on what I just said, you can probably guess where I stand on this diet. There's a lot of benefits that come with doing the ketogenic diet correctly. However, are the benefits worth the cost and the sacrifices that you have to make? I think not. I personally cannot do it because I enjoy carbs, I enjoy having a lot of different foods in moderation, and I enjoy the foods that I enjoy. I love sweets, I love some junk foods, I love having cake from time to time. I enjoy having a certain level of flexibility when it comes to what I eat on a day-to-day basis. For people who want to lose weight, there are definitely approaches that are less rigid and restrictive than the ketogenic diet that you can follow that will get you the same results that you're looking for. We've got to remember that no matter what diet that you're on, no matter what protocol that you follow, weight loss is always going to come down to energy balance. You're going to have to burn more energy than you ingest through your food in order to lose weight. That applies to the ketogenic diet, and that applies to more flexible ways of dieting too. In the end, it all comes down to personal preference. If you've watched this entire video as well as my Keto Explained video and you're still drawn to the diet, then by all means try it. If you find yourself enjoying it and also you find it easy to follow and it's allowing you to accomplish your goals, then all the power to you. The ketogenic diet is a good fit for you and you should do it, and you should continue doing it as long as you can. But if you choose not to do the keto diet, then that's perfectly fine. It's just one method to getting healthier out of many that are out there. You don't have to do the keto diet. There are many other things that you can do to increase your health, so it's totally fine. I'm curious as to where you stand on keto. Is this something that you want to do? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you have any questions on anything that I talked about today, leave your questions in the comments down below. If you found value out of this video, then please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel for more tips and content just like this. And also, please check out all the other videos on the next screen to continue your nutrition education. Also, if you find that I'm missing some information or misrepresenting something about the keto diet in this video, then I'm very curious as to what your insights are. So please leave your input in the comments down below as well. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.